What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, it is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, host of this thing called the Wait a Minute Show. And welcome back. Hopefully, you're not dealing with any craziness like we are in the ATL, where a little bit of cold has already started to shut down of the city. They're calling a state of emergency. So, yeah, Atlanta said, I'm not being in the news again for snowmageddon, but hopefully you're dealing with, other things than what we're dealing here. But we're in the Lions Den studios. Again, it's your man, Jelani JB Bodie, and we got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into the NFL. We'll get into some NBA a little bit and, some other things as well. But before we do all that, make sure, I always tell you at the beginning, I'm going to tell you at the end as well, but like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, follow your boy, and comment. I get people who comment, talk about the Dallas Cowboys last week, so appreciate those comments there. But I don't do this thing by myself, obviously in the background running it. And sometimes he shows his face every now and then, but Big Mo is in the building. What's up, Mo?
I got all my picks right so far in the playoffs.
I don't like that.
I know you don't. I'm sure you don't. It's okay. We'll talk about it.
I don't like that you got them all right. But yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about that. Yeah, I don't like that. But you know what? Regardless, let's get into it. But before we get into the first topic, because some stuff just broke. This is Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Before we came on, and it deals with my Lions, and that is Ben Johnson, right? Former offensive coordinator now for the Detroit Lions. It's been reported that he took the job in Chicago to be the head coach. So I had to go shed a few tears here and there. I knew this moment was coming. I knew to think that Ben would stay around another year would just be ridiculous for me to think that. So I was a little bit more prepared this year than I was last year when he decided to come back. So first I want to say, hey, props to you, Ben, on the new gig. Can't say that I'm going to be cheering for you when we play y'all, but I will, wish you success, on that. Now let's talk about what Chicago is getting, right? And I guess, is this what is going to get Chicago over that hump? I'm going to say no, right? And I know that may sound crazy. You're just like, Jelani, wait a minute. You're just saying all the praises and everything that this guy has done in Detroit. And what I'm getting at is that when I say no, Ben is a big piece of that puzzle. Ben is a big piece of that pie. We obviously will believe that Caleb Williams would play better, the offense would play better, but there's some other things that goes along with that, right? And Bears fans, they're still worried about Ryan Pace and the moves that he's making, the decisions that he's making. So if those are still questionable, you can have the greatest coach in the world, but if you still got, problems on other ends, then you still got a problem with your football team. Ask Dallas about that, but we're not going to talk about them right now. But it is a good move. It is something that Caleb now, before Caleb got pranked with Ben Johnson calling him now, it is actually factual that that's going to be his head coach. So I do see good things, from it. Now, here's the other thing I'm going to say real quick, and then we'll get into these playoff matchups, is that Bears fans, do not think the Chicago Bears is going to be the offense that Detroit put up there. Because when you look at what they have, first off, the offensive line, no one's going to say that Chicago's offensive line is equivalent to Detroit's offensive line, right? No one's going to say their backfield is equivalent to the backfield that Detroit has. So do not put very high is what I want to say. Very high expectations on this first year. Yes, they can turn it around. We've seen it. Look at Washington, which we're going to talk about here in just a moment. But give Ben time. Let him put his stamp of approval or his footprint, on there. But then him and the general manager got to be on the same page. So they got to be working as a unison, as you've seen how that has happened in Detroit. So you got a good one there. Again, props to Ben. I knew he was going to be gone. I knew he was going to go somewhere. I knew Chicago was a chance. And Mojo Brooks told me already a couple months ago that they were going to take our OC. Told me face to face. Told me to my face, bro. Told me, just said, we coming for y'all OC, and we're going to take them. And I guess Mojo was correct. I told them leave my OC alone, but they didn't listen.
Quick end to an era.
Yeah.
My heart go out to you.
It's all right. All right. We'll get somebody else. Let's move into some playoff matchup, divisional matchups in the NFL. And we had 4 matchups that went down. And the first one that I want to talk about, there was a little bit of controversy, a little bit of talk about it. That was the first matchup, which was on Saturday, which was Kansas City versus the Houston Texans. Now, Houston lost that game. Kansas City won that game. But it didn't go without some controversy as far as like calls that was going Kansas City way. And I totally get it. I totally understand where Houston is coming from as far as like phantom calls and things that, transpire in that game. And it's just like, yo, we know we was going against the refs. Absolutely. I truly believe it. But you're not the first team, to go through this. And just history of sports itself. You see, when New England was on, they were getting the benefits, of the call. When the Lakers was on, they were getting the benefits of the call. When the Heat were on, they were getting the benefits. So whichever team is the team, I guess not destiny, but that hot team at that point are running, the past few years, which has been about 5 or 6, for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to get the home cooking, right? They're at home and they're going to get the home cooking. So you got to get over those. And I think the biggest thing, look, at the game, you gave up 8 sacks. That's been a problem all year. CJ Stroud got sacked 52 times in the regular season. So along with that, don't get me wrong, they got gripes, but there's other things that needs to be touched based on. And it's commendable for what Houston did as well without Tank Dell or Stephon Diggs, on that roster. But yeah, you're going to be anybody that's playing the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to have, 13, 14, maybe 15, people that they're going to be going against. So this is still, Houston is still trending in the right direction. You won the division twice right now, so you're running the AFC South. But Kansas City, they don't make mistakes, man. They don't make mistakes. And then with that little help that they get here and there, it's hard. It's hard to beat them. Team that wasn't hard to beat was my Detroit Lions, right? They lose getting mollywopped by the Washington Commanders, where they get 45 points, put up on them. And here's what I'm going to say, about that. It hurt. It hurt. Everybody know, I gave myself 12 hours. I wasn't going to take, a week or anything like that, but I took 12 hours to cry and, whatever it is that I needed to get off my chest and everything. And then just looking at it, here's what transpired on that. There's a few things. And a lot of people like to play this blame game. And we're going to talk about the blame game in another matchup here in a second. But at the end of the day, Washington was the better team. Washington played better ball. Washington played mistake-free ball. Detroit turned the ball over, regardless of who it is. I know they put it on Jared Goff and everything, but nobody can turn the ball over. And along with, because the defense, I'm not making any excuses, because I haven't made any excuses for the defense this time, and I'm not going to make any up to this time, and I'm not going to make any excuses for the defense. Now it's just the offense. You knew you were going to have to. That's why they were the highest scoring offense. You knew you're going to have to put up 30 some odd points, on this team. But we just talking about Ben Johnson. The one thing that was a little bit crazy about that was, even though Jared Goff had thrown 2 interceptions at that point and fumbled the ball, there's no way when the game is winding down, I'm gonna put the ball in Jameson Williams' hand as a quarterback. I'm gonna live and die with whatever Jared Goff does. If he had to throw another interception on that play, then it is what it is, right? Props to Washington, but they still had an opportunity to get in that game. They kept shooting themselves in the foot. But more importantly is that Washington and Jayden Daniels, man, he is showing this rookie year, this campaign, where we can't even call him a rookie anymore, because after you finish the regular season and you play like this, how you played in the playoffs, yeah, you're not a rookie anymore. Poised, He did what needed to be done. Anytime they needed a play from him, he made the play. He made the right read, and the defense played really excellent for Washington. And you got to give props because if you look at it, Mo, if the crazy part about this, when you look at Washington, right, and you look at that squad that they have, they got veteran leadership, but they got some young talent around. But all those guys that contribute, like Louvu, Wagner, Lattimore, guess what they all got in common?
What's that?
They all have some type of relationship to Dan Quinn, and Fowler, Dante Fowler. Either they played for Dan Quinn or Dan Quinn played against them numerous of times when he was the Atlanta Falcons head coach. So he surrounded Jayden also with some veterans that could take that pressure off of him. So and there's really not that much pressure. But at the end of the day, Washington was the better team. So they deservedly should have went on to the next round.
It's not enough that you could say about Jayden Daniels. That's big boy football. That's big boy football. You said it. You touched on it. Don't even call him a rookie at this point. 2 playoff wins. 2 playoff wins. Nice ones. The kid is special, man. He's special. He's special.
Right.
He's special.
Now, would you call him elite?
He just beat a team that me and you both just a short while ago we had a conversation about. This is the Lions Super Bowl to lose. This was a little bit more than halfway through the season. Mm-hmm. And in a lot of people's mind, they were still considered the favorite, right?
Right.
Elite is a strong word. I got to see more. Mm-hmm. I got to see what he do against Philly.
Are you saying no or are you saying yes, Mo?
I'm not saying either, but I guess I got to pick a side because you're going to force me to do that. I'm going to say it's top 5 elite. Top 5 quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah.
Is that elite in your eyes?
Yeah.
Okay. So would you consider him top 5 right now? Think about that before you answer the question. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, if you want to throw Joe Burrow in there, if you want to throw whoever. I mean, name me 5 quarterbacks before you get to him.
You might can put him. You might can put him at 5, but I'm going to say no. He's not elite.
Okay.
Okay. And
all right.
We'll discuss that in another. We'll discuss that in another episode. Why I'd say he's not elite. Right.
I can't wait to have this conversation.
It's not being disrespectful to Jayden. It's just once when I explain it, then I'll explain it.
Fair enough.
All right. So they took care of business. Another game. Philadelphia, the Eagles. Look, let me tell you about this. Them beating the Rams. The Rams could have won this game. And again, one of those things that when it comes to mistake-free football, and that's what the Eagles played mistake-free. Their defense was able to capitalize on the turnovers, from the Rams, and they were able to overcome, some of their setbacks. They did give up a safety, and everything. But here's this was the craziest thing. I said, there's no way Saquon Barkley is going to break 2 more runs big runs for a touchdown like he did in the game before. And he breaks 2 big runs for a touchdown. So explosive plays, defense is what won this game. And of course, staying mistake-free, not turning the ball over. The Rams had every opportunity, every shot, and in the way that Matthew Stafford was throwing the ball in the snow is commendable. The way that the Rams defense, I think they had 6 or 7 sacks, if I remember, in this game. So at the end of the day, it was whoever made the least amount of mistakes and the explosive plays, and that was Philadelphia on it. I don't need to go further any depth or anything, like that. So it is what it is. The last one though, and Mo, I'm going to talk to you about this one, and I'm sure you got a viewpoint because everybody has a viewpoint about Buffalo and the Ravens, and we know Buffalo won. They won by 2 points, close score. We know how the game, ended. So Mo, I want you to come back in, but I want to just get your kind of thoughts that comes along with it in this game. because a lot of people want to place the blame on Lamar. Lamar played a part, but I think there's more to this as why the Ravens lost than just putting on Lamar or just putting it on Mark Andrews. But you watched the game. What were your thoughts on how that game played out?
It's hard to give Lamar a pass, 2 turnovers, right? You got an interception, you got a fumble. It's hard to give him a pass. But I watched the game, and those were not the deciding factor in that game. Of course, losing the ball on the 1-yard line, that's a problem. But I just saw a quarterback that was more prepared. I'm sorry. I mean, I know people going to chew my head off about that, but Josh Allen, I mean, come on, man.
Okay.
You disagree?
Interesting perspective on that. I don't agree. No, let me say I don't fully agree. You make some points, as far as like Lamar. Here's how I feel about that situation with Lamar. Is that people, they talk about the turnovers. You're absolutely right. Those turnovers happen earlier, earlier part of the game for him. We've seen quarterbacks not have good games. We've seen Brady, we've seen Mahomes, and everybody. But at the end of the day, what do they always say? If they get it when it counts, when you need it most, they get it done, right? And
Right.
and most of those have been, if it's Brady, if it's Pat Mahomes or something like that, it's been a pass, right? We just saw last year. I'm not trying to bring up old things, but we saw last year McCall Hardman, right? Right, the right place at the right time. He caught the ball, right? To win that Super Bowl. We've seen Brady do that. Guys at, time after time after time. They got to catch the ball. I'm just saying is that Lamar can't catch the ball too. And Lamar can't move the ball upfield after a pass. So those to me, I just think, and I'm not blaming Mark Andrews on it. I'm just saying those impact the game. And you can't just put it on Lamar that he threw the ball to Mark Andrews. And I watched that play when he went east and west. I was like, why is he going east and west? Go north, south, get upfield. And that's where the ball, because you got to realize the weather conditions that you're playing in. So you got that aspect. The other thing is that a little bit with coaching too, because in that
That's where I
third
was going to
quarter,
go.
early third quarter, they're down by 2. They decide to go for 2 instead of just kicking the extra point. Now, again, we don't know if the extra point is automatic, but it's close to automatic with Justin Tucker.
Right.
You get that, you're down by 1. So that play in that late fourth quarter where he throws the touchdown to Likely, now you're just needing the extra point to tie the game up to go into overtime versus, the 2-point conversion. I didn't think they needed to go for 2 that early in the third quarter. You had so much time left in that game to make it up. And the last thing I'm going to say, on this, or two other things. The other thing was the defense couldn't slow down James Cook in a running game over there. Davis and them, they had, I think they had over 150 yards rushing, right? So your defense got to be able to, slow it up as well. Buffalo made no mistakes. That's the reason that they won. But the last thing, how I always be taking notes and everything, Mo. This is probably what you think. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry. You know how many times he rushed in that game? Take a
This
guess.
is where I was about to go. It
Take a
wasn't
guess.
enough. It wasn't 20. I don't think he had 25.
16 rushes.
Let me say this.
16 rushes. And before that game started, in my head, I said, Derrick Henry needs to touch the ball at least 22 times. At this point where the playoffs are, if he needs to touch it 30, you do what you need to do. But he at least needs to touch the ball 22 times because we all know as the game goes on, Derrick Henry gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And then he breaks off that run, a la
Right.
Saquon Barkley.
Right.
He breaks off that run. That's a game changer. He carried the ball 16 times. I know Justice Hill carried and he was effective. But on the season, Mo, on the season, they played including this game. So they played a total of 19 games, right? 10 games that they played where Derrick Henry got the ball 19 times or less, 19 times or less, he averaged 83 yards for the season. 20 carries or more, that's 9 games. So that's almost an even sample size. 20 carries or more, 9 games, he averaged 152 yards.
So, all right, let's back all the way up. Because you asked me, about Lamar Jackson and his how much of a responsibility it was on him that they lost that game. All right. We're not throwing him under the bus, but we're not letting him off the hook. Because at the end of the day, you playing right now, what do we want? What are we waiting to see from Lamar Jackson? Getting over that hump, right?
Right.
Every year in the playoffs, we run into a situation like this. It's the Buffalo Bills. You know how big this game is. Perfect opportunity to get over that hump. The perfect game, the perfect opponent, right?
Right. Exactly.
No room for error. There's no margin for error.
I agree.
And you turned the ball over, right? You're a running quarterback, right?
I agree.
And I get it. Your game has developed. You become an elite, a great passer of the ball, and you use your feet well, right? Hold on to that ball. But as far as coaching go, you playing the Buffalo Bills, right? Bro, you got to run the ball. The best way to beat Josh Allen is to keep him off the field. Run the ball. You have 2 MVP candidates on your team playing in this game. It's 3 MVP candidates in that game, right? 3 MVP. Josh Allen, the other 2 over there with the Ravens, right? You got to win that game. You can't make mistakes. You got to win that game. You got to do what you got to do. So, yeah, I put responsibility on the coaching, and Lamar he has to carry his weight as well. So
I agree.
Anybody that's mad at me about that, hey, listen, I'm sorry, bro. I watched the game. And Buffalo didn't make mistakes, and they knew they couldn't make mistakes in order to win that game, and they didn't.
So, I agree with you on that. The only thing, and you didn't say this, Mo, is that folks are trying to put it all on Lamar. And I'm like, you can't put it all on Lamar because what he potentially was about to do, like you said, get over that hump.
Mm-hmm.
The Mark Andrews just dropped the ball. Unfortunate timing. That's really what it is. Mark Andrews has to catch that ball. He knows that. Everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
But what Lamar was potentially about to do, it was predicated on that. That wasn't Lamar running around and he falling all over the place and he just throws a bad interception. Right. This was a 99.9% completion. It's just so happened 0.001 or whatever happened on that play.
But this
just like at the beginning of the season, playing Kansas City, he's about to have that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Likely just couldn't get his foot, in. I'm just saying that Lamar is there, and I think people are just putting it as if he's the problem. And it's like, he's not the problem. You got to get over the hump. Yeah. And there are things like you just said. I totally agree. You can't have those, you can't have those turnovers, that he had.
Right.
But he was on his way. To me, I believe he was on his way to rectifying that. And we were going to be talking about him saying, you know what? He was resilient. He was this, he was that, and Mark Andrews just happened to just drop the ball at the ill-opportune time.
Do you remember what the score of the game was?
24-22, if I remember right.
All right, so now we're going back to Lamar. All right, you fumbled the ball. Now, Buffalo's possession, they didn't go down and score, right? But if you remember, Baltimore was putting together a great drive before that ball was fumbled. They could have easily went down and scored, or now we're talking hindsight. We don't know. We don't know what would have happened. But let's say you score.
You talking about the fumble by Lamar?
By Lamar, right.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. If they go down and score, now you putting yourself in a better position where you're not forced to have to throw that ball. You can start feeding Derrick Henry. If you got to make a play with your legs, you can do that. You'll feel more comfortable doing that from a coaching staff, right? And that was just an opportunity that you didn't really get because, now you done turned the ball over. And even though Buffalo didn't go back down and score, I think they did end up scoring before Baltimore scored again. But either way.
If I remember correctly, they scored on that fumble by Mark Andrews.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. They scored on that. And I think they got a field goal on something else. So I mean, that's 10 points right there. That's a 10-point swing on plays that did not include Lamar. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. They lost as a team. That's how I look at it.
They did.
Is that
It was a complete,
equal?
collective.
Yeah, it was
And
collective. It was equally. Hey, they all lost. It wasn't one particular person, that lost this game. No, nor is it ever, because it's a team sport. So it's just like
mhm.
most of the time you don't lose a game off of just one thing, on it. It's plenty of things that transpired in that game that could have changed it. But
You can't hang your head, man. At the end of the day, listen, you lost to the Buffalo Bills in
mhm.
Buffalo, in the elements you lost in. And at the end of the day, I mean, ain't nobody more frustrated than Lamar Jackson right now.
Yeah.
I promise you
Yep.
that. So
Yep.
just
So,
come back next year. You got the team, you got the roster. You just can't make the mistakes. So
yeah. Hopefully they bounce back.
yeah.
So those are the playoffs. So we got NFC Conference Championship, AFC Conference Championship that's going to be up. So we'll be talking about that and who's going to the Super Bowl next week. But let's move on. What we got? Oh, let's get a little basketball news. Jimmy Butler, right? The Butler did it. So Jimmy has been in the sporting news because of, I guess, the current relationship. Let's just say that current relationship or the current situation that is the Miami Heat. And there's been reports that Jimmy has requested, to be traded, want to be out, and all this stuff. So, as you see there, how's it going to play out with, the Miami Heat, and will he still be there? I know well, let me not say I know for a fact. I strongly believe no. He will. If they, yeah, I think they'll move him before the trading deadline. But if they don't, he's definitely done. By the end of the season as well. And I think part of this, if you go back, and I'm not tying two to two and saying they're the same thing. Jimmy has had things that happen, with other teams, and he's wanted to move on from there. But I think the biggest difference, from where he was with those previous teams and just saying, hey, I'm going to move, elsewhere, or maybe this is not the right place for me. None of them had Pat Riley there. And that's the biggest difference with any of those other situations. Pat Riley, he don't play that. You playing by Pat Riley rules. Pat Riley is old school. Pat Riley is stubborn, if you will. I think D Wade even talked about it, is that, it's going to go Pat Riley's way, right? So I think I think that's more than anything of what it's about, is that Pat wants things a certain way. And maybe, him and Jimmy may not see eye to eye, on that. But as far as like moving out, exiting out, from the team, Miami is the one team in the entire league where, if you're a player, I don't think you just got the juice. I don't even think LeBron could pull that off in Miami, to really just go in and just say, you do this, that, and the third. Not saying that Jimmy is doing that, but I'm just saying, with who Pat Riley is, it's just like, we know who's running the ship, right? And that's it. Either, I guess, state property, get down or lay down, if you will. So Jimmy will end up being out of there, but I think really most of this is just because Pat wants it to happen a certain way, and he's going to make sure it happens that way. That's my thought on it. Let's move into our next to last topic. Mo is probably going to appreciate this because he appreciates women basketball just like I do. And you see that Unrivaled, right? Unrivaled. So before I say anything about Unrivaled, I'll be remiss if I didn't mention, and Mo is going to show his face in a second, Dawn Staley getting her money. Oh, she got her money. That's right. Get paid. So she is, I think she's highest paid now, and deservedly
You
so.
better be.
So yeah, I just want to say that. So it's more Gucci outfits, more Louis V, on the sideline
New Rolls
for
Royce.
one Dawn Staley. So but Unrivaled, right? So Unrivaled debuted just recently, and this is the league where it is designed for the women. It is designed so women do not have to go overseas. They can still play in the United States. And Mo, I didn't see it from beginning to end, so I'm not even going to front here, but I did catch a piece of it. I got to see Angel Reese, Chelsea Gray, and some of the other ones, some of the other ladies out there playing ball. And here's what I'm going to say, about it is that I like this is what I like about it. It's 3-on-3, but it's full court 3-on-3, and it's a little bit more condensed basketball court. And so you still can get up and down, on the court. You still can have that action back and forth. And it reminds me, and I don't know if you actually dealt with this, Mo, in your days, your young buck days when you were growing up or whatever. But it reminds me of the days when I used to go down to the rec center, and we would play, 3-on-3 on a shorter court. And it was very competitive, and it was very, back and forth action. And that's what I saw in this Unrivaled. And I'm hoping, that it continues to be that way. I don't know all the rules. So I'm not going to front here, but I know they had to get to 78, on here. But I think the biggest thing is that, one, you keep your talent here, your top tier talents. You get to see them more consistently. They just don't go away after the season is over, and then you don't hear from them for 6, 7, 8 months. So you keep that talent here for the public to see and continue to build a rapport with. Again, you got the action, you got the back and forth, the 3-on-3 there. They're getting paid as well. They got sponsorship. So I like it. I think eventually you will probably have, because I know Caitlin, if I remember correctly, Caitlin decided not to play in the Unrivaled at this point. But I think you'll eventually get, a plethora of top tier, talent that you want to have, that you're going to put, out there on a daily basis. So I'm interested to catch more of the Unrivaled games, which I will. And then I'll talk about it even more, but I like where they went with it again. So you know about these names, but then they go overseas, then you kind of forget, and then you get back to it. So I like what it is. Mo, I don't know if you got a chance to check it out, or if you just got a thought on it. I know, women's basketball, you love women's basketball. So
I do. And I hate to say that I didn't get a chance to watch. I was a little busy, but I'm looking forward to see what they come with next, man. I mean, because I heard a lot about it, but yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it, so I don't want to speak on it too much. But yeah, looking forward to what they got coming up next.
Yeah. They didn't, and here, the last thing I'm going to say is, because I harp on the 3-on-3, because, and this is not a shot or anything like that at Ice Cube or anything like that, but we see the big three, and they play half court, right? On the big three. And I think that just takes an aspect out of the game when you're playing half court, because you get the ball, you got to take it back out. You don't have that transition. So that's what I liked about Unrivaled, is that you got that transition when it comes to the 3-on-3. But everything is different. Everything to each their own and all that stuff. You don't have to do it, the exact same way, because it's working, for them. It's just another aspect that I like about it. Now, let me get you out of here. Something that, look, I'm not going to say I don't like it, but I just don't understand. Maybe that is what it is. And in my childhood, there's things that have transpired, certain ways. And I know that was quite a bit ago, or a way ago, or whatever the correct term is. And there's a new breed of adolescents and children that frolics upon this great earth, and they operate a little bit different. But tiny fan, right? If you haven't seen this, check this video out. Little man, right there. This is Gardner Webb and Radford, and this is a close game. This is in the middle of the game. I want you to look at this man. And who kid is that? Yes. And he's having a great time. And thankfully, that gentleman picks the kid up and takes him over and say, hey, we got to finish a game. And Everybody's laughing and everybody's enjoying. Look at him. Oh, he's so cute. And hey, somebody come and get me. And yeah, maybe your parents. Maybe that's who should come and get you. But Mo, I want to tell you on this video right here. I'm going to tell you right now. If that had been Mama B, and I was out there frolicking and running and laughing and just having a good time like this gentleman is, no fault of his own. He's a kid. He don't know any better. But you remember the game Shinobi?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how they slice and chop people up? She would have came across that court and she would have just sliced me up.
I'm telling you, and you notice, none of those players looked entertained.
No.
Nobody was laughing. Nobody was joking with the kid or none of that. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to look when he running by, I'm trying to see, like, how did he get down there?
Their parents probably at the concession stand. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, did y'all just leave him up there? I mean, that kid is small. That's a long way for him to get down to that floor like that.
You told somebody, hey, watch my kid right quick. I'll be right back. Make sure they don't do that.
Listen, don't pay that babysitter no more. Look at like, nah, buddy, that wasn't funny, man. That wasn't funny.
Oh my
Who won that game, you know?
I don't even know who won the game. But yeah.
He done messed up somebody's momentum.
He's just like, yeah, let's go. You know what this remind me of right here? Old school. He just running. Hey, we're going streaking. Let's go. Everybody, we're going streaking.
Yeah. Like, it almost looked like somebody put him up to that.
Yeah.
Like, he just got out there and just, little buddy gone.
Yeah. But lucky for me, I didn't do anything like that because there never would have been a wait a minute show because I wouldn't have existed. You know,
you got to skin up.
Yeah.
You got to skin up. That's why I can't take you nowhere.
Yeah, can't take you nowhere. Yeah. Oh man. That's wild. All right. So little man, you know, doing this thing. Hopefully y'all do your thing again, like, subscribe, and make sure you turn on the notifications, share, make comments as well, you know, for the show. This is Monday, so we got a big game coming up. Ohio State, Notre Dame. I can't stand either one of these teams being a Michigan fan, but I already picked Ohio State, you know, to win it. I hope Notre Dame wins it. Because Marcus Freeman, that'll be a big move or big ups, you know, for him if he wins it. So rooting for Marcus Freeman, but I think Ohio State will probably win this game unless Notre Dame can keep it close. But other than that, man, I'm gonna holler at y'all later, man. Me and Mo, we'll see y'all next time. Two things as always: stay positive and push forward. And I'll holler at y'all later.